Memorable black tie speaker stories. I was dinner chairman, and I wanted to have Roy Firestone be our speaker. And he was a noted sports announcer at the time, plus he had a stand-up comedy act in Las Vegas. And I thought, when I got my budget worked out, after I was going to have the first dinner at the Bahia. It had never been done before. It had always been at the Hilton in Mission Bay. And I decided that I wanted to do it and change it a little bit. So I had the cocktail party on the William B Evans Sternwheeler. And then I had a buddy of mine, Brian McGivern, who was a son for a little while, make some signs up. And I had a sign, they were white signs in green lettering, from the parking lot directing you out to where the sternwheeler was for the cocktail hour. And then I had signs from the cocktail hour directing us to the tower and to the elevator. And at the elevator I had a bar set up because I knew that there'd be a backup at the elevator, and I knew these guys would want a drink in their hand. And then from there we went to the top floor of the tower at the Bahia. And I had wanted Roy Firestone, and he needed $5,000 for us to do that. And I figured out in my budget, because it was the Bahia and I was going to get a deal, I could do that. And Chuck Fox threw a fit. And he said, absolutely not. Couldn't do that because he had already committed to his dear friend Ben Davidson. And Ben would be terribly offended, and it would look bad for the Friendly Sons, and we had to have Ben Davidson. So I was overruled and acquiesced, and Ben Davidson was our speaker. And I remember after he got done speaking, he sat down, and Jay Sullivan, a Friendly Son, walked up to him and he went, "Hey, on behalf of the United States Marine Corps, fuck you," and turned around and walked back to his seat. And Ben Davidson looked at me and went, "Should I know him?" I said, "I don't think so." Well, apparently Ben didn't go real well because they threw some rolls at him. And it got written up in the Irish Echo, which was a newspaper back in New York. And how we made it into the Irish Echo. But they talked about this Friendly Son dinner where they weren't very well behaved, and they actually threw rolls at the speaker. They didn't mention Ben, which is probably a good thing. But I always thought, God, what a notorious way to get started, throwing rolls at the speaker.